yeah, that video cable it's a 16 channel RG6 or RG59 coax, and the Belden version of it does it's a silver plated copper.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. And
so it's not like copper clad.
No. It's silver plated copper for the conductivity. And what ends up happening is, they rate that cable over what distance it can transmit 12G. And so it's like 117 feet, which seems kind of low, right?
Yeah.
But
the resolution, I mean, it's got to be amazing.
Well, so it's 8K, right?
Yeah.
They're working in, these high-end video productions, and so all the screens that you see in stadiums and whatnot, they have
like musical events,
right? Big events,
sporting events, things like that.
Yeah, big time stuff. So, trying to make that what we've got to do, and I've got one of our suppliers who's looking at actually making a version of that cable stranded, because they want stranded so they can loop it, because when you have the solid copper in the coax, it's harder to coil.
Sure.
So when you're doing production events and concerts and things like that, and you're setting up and tearing down, coiling is kind of important.
Yeah. I would say so. Yeah.
So, hey, I think people are joining us right now. So, hey, welcome to the Gruber Wired time.
Still Gruber Wired hour, even though it's a half hour.
Yeah, we fudge on that a little bit. My name is Mark Beach.
I'm John Dotson, and welcome once again.
Right.
Yeah, we're just talking about some cabling things going on, right?
Yeah, we're back to basics today. We're going to be talking all 30 minutes of it.
30 minutes of that fun stuff.
Right.
But you're just talking about the improvements running up to 8K for sporting events and whatnot. And
right.
Wow, can you imagine compared to what we used to have with the UHF and airwaves and analog signals and just where we've come over time?
Right. I mean, so a lot of what I'm getting into now is, high density fiber. It's the high resolution video transmission cabling, and that whole setup and how that all works so that these major productions can happen, and we want to be in that stream. We want to be a supplier of both high density fiber, so big data, big transmission capability, and then also with this video production stuff, it's pretty amazing. It's really it gets my interest.
Yeah, and you got to remember, technology is just like taking off so fast compared to where it used to be.
Right
now, it's time to really quick rewind, right?
Right.
Let's go back to the beginning, back to basics, put the brakes on for a minute, because we can still take care of those needs today as well.
Right. Well, I mean, like you were saying before in a few different podcasts, the FAA still runs on 3.
Yeah. They still use a lot of Cat3 telco cabling for
and I'm sure
FAA
hospitals too. I know Arthur was mentioning it a while back when he was having his stay, and he was telling me, technology is not. Yeah. So,
but here's the thing: if it still works and it's still a productive system, I can understand the need not to change it.
Right.
Right. But there will be a day and time when it does become outdated. I mean, eventually that will happen.
The thing is, you want to change your cabling infrastructure before you have to, because the equipment, say you want to buy this really slick piece of equipment and it's not going to work on your existing cable structure. Yeah. You're going to be pushed back because you can't do
limited.
It. Right. Your transmission capabilities need to be kind of leading the way, and then you bring the switches and devices along with it. But if you have to wait to do that expenditure because your system can't handle it, that's a bad place to be.
It is, and that's where you just start thinking about the future, and that's why we see the progression of category cabling, copper especially, starting off in around the 1990s with category 3 telco cabling, and then the next advancement was just taking a step up the ladder to category 5, which gave a lot more options and advancement within that technology. In fact, Jesse, you want to pull up our website? We're going to use our website as reference points today. Why not? It's new. It's great. We're having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
If you could just click on a Category 5 cable so the viewers have an idea of what we're discussing and talking about, that'd be great. So easy, right?
Yep. It's very snappy, the website. Very snappy.
Very much so. snap, snap, snap.
Right.
Well, there you go with the Category 5. It actually became one of the standards for quite some time, supporting up to 100 megabytes per second.
Right.
In the beginning.
Yeah,
and
they called it 10100, right?
Yeah, 10100 for quite some time. And then they added the E, where they kind of enhanced it a little bit, trying to push it a little bit more.
Yeah.
To get.
Or was it 40? Yeah, it was a gig, right?
So, I believe a gig, yeah. Yeah, to 1 gig.
Right. And
over
now,
the Cat5e. Yeah.
Right. And now the 6, the 6 was 1 gig standard, right? And then the 6A goes to 10 gig, right? So
correct.
Yeah.
And all those little advancements and steps along the way are meant to help with the basic needs of infrastructure as we are growing. We still see a lot of need for Cat5, cabling out there. And those of you watching, just so you know, we're up there, you see where it says plenum. Right. Again, plenum is a specialized jacket used in plenum handling air return systems, just like the meaning plenum.
Right.
So if you have an air handling return system, this jacket allows for very little chemical exposure during a fire to become elevated into the airways.
You don't need it until you need it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it is part of the building codes out there. So you have to be respectful of that when you're taking a look at the projects that you're working on. A standard cable would be called a riser jacket with your standard, cabling systems. So.
Right. And, so these cables here you see don't have boots.
No.
But a lot of what we do is booted. And that's just to provide a snagless, cable, so that if you're moving it or, feeding it through things, you don't have the little plastic, connector on the top there, the little latch.
Yeah.
Doesn't catch on something. And I've bent those off before, trying to, they do if you're, trying to feed it through other cables or whatever, and then gone.
And the other thing about bringing up the boots is it does add strain relief to the tension that's there at the connection point itself.
Right.
So that also depends on the scenario that you're working with, but a boot can really add quite a bit of strain relief on these cables.
Right. Yep. And, just, honest moment here, back before I really understood the significance of the Cat cables, I just would go to, if I needed a new one, I'd go to the store and just buy one. And I didn't even know what Cat, whatever, didn't have any idea, just bought a cable. It was the right plug, hello, thank you. Didn't realize, that there's a big difference.
Yeah. And depending on, your system you're working with, even whether it's a home or in business, you have to understand your transmission rates.
Right.
And be prepared for that.
Sure. And performance is a thing. I mean, depending on, whether you're running a cable from your router all the way through your house to the Xbox, or how, whatever you're doing, right? Matters how it's made, matters what it is, right?
It really does.
Not just that the two ends fit. That doesn't. Yeah.
They'll fit, but whether you're getting the transmission you want, rate of transmission is depend.
Right.
You just don't want that failure to happen for you.
Right, and they call it attenuation, which is the data loss over distance. So basically, it's kind of the shrinking bandwidth, if you will, as it gets to the end of the signal, where the signal or the destination of the signal. And, you don't want it. Attenuation's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it's
you
light,
don't want loss.
whether it's light or fiber, copper, you don't want attenuation.
Or the money in your wallet.
Right. You don't want that going away either.
Yeah. Hey, Jesse, you want to pull up the Mini 6? Because after Cat 5 came Cat 6, right? Yep. And then the next progression that we see in Cat 6, before you hit Cat 6A, was the reduction in the size of the cable itself to a 28 gauge cable.
Right.
And so that's what's called the Mini 6.
Right. Can you just mention again real quick how fast the website is?
It's beautiful.
It's just nice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just feels good, right?
It's good stuff.
Well, you're also using the proper cabling with our system, which helps in that attenuation.
Right.
Correct.
Well, and, just so everybody knows too, when we're running ads and promoting Gruber, we give away mini Cat 6 cables. So if you haven't tried out our mini Cat 6 and you want to contact us for a free sample and we can, find out a little bit more about you, what you're doing, what you use it for, we'd be happy to send you a sample of the mini Cat 6.
Yeah,
We get a lot of compliments on this cable.
yeah, we do.
People get it and they go,
almost
"Oh
daily.
yeah, this is really great."
In fact, we had a government agency just contacted us. Was it yesterday? Said,
Okay.
"Hey, I got your sample of the Mini 6 cable. We're ready to have some conversations and discuss this." So,
Okay.
yeah, good stuff going on out there. You can simply, if need be and would like, you can call us to get a sample if you'd like.
Right.
You could use our feature here, which he's pointing out down below. There's our numbers, and you could send us an email. You could also go on live chat. We have that capability. Speak to someone right now.
Yeah, or you could email us at wired@gruber.com.
Yeah.
We'd like to. We haven't gotten an email there yet, so be the first. Be the first to email us at wired@gruber.com.
And if you need someone to help you out,
the
there
chat
we go.
too.
There's
Yep.
a chat. Hey, can you actually use the chat? Can we talk to somebody live right now?
See if anybody's paying attention.
Yeah, see if they pop up.
Yeah, John and I are over here. So is somebody paying attention?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
Crystal and Bob and Adelie and
Let's
Noah
ask them
and
a question. What's a good question?
why aren't you watching the podcast right now instead of
ask them why
being
they're
on
not
chat?
watching the podcast. So hopefully we'll see some results here on our little live chat feature.
Yeah,
Let's see who we get. Oh,
here we go.
hey, do we get someone? There we go. What's that? I can't read it from here.
No, it's he put the email in, and now it's.
We're waiting. Let's see. Yeah, very cool.
So in the meantime,
So we can take care of all those needs, and you're welcome to reach out to us. Hey,
Oh,
you're
I'm
on
up
top.
here.
Look at that.
Hey.
Wow, hey,
hey John, how are you?
doing well. How you doing?
This is all day, man. We have a good time. Our customers have a good time,
Hey, man,
and,
watch
and
the
we
spit, man.
yeah, hawk tua. No,
That's just wrong.
sorry. All right.
Little fun there, but
Oh boy.
But yeah, the 28 gauge Mini 6 sample, feel free to reach out. We'll be glad to get one in your hands so you
Great.
can take a look at, test
So
it out.
and that 28 gauge, so that the diameter of that is 31% smaller
Correct.
than a regular cable, regular Cat 6, and it's 50% lighter.
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of a win-win scenario on that one there.
right. I mean, and if you're ordering a bunch of them, it saves on shipping because, cable gets heavy and it's expensive
Sure.
to ship.
But also you're going to watch it, as let's say in a data center setting, you're going to watch your cable bundle itself
Right.
reduce in size.
We
So-
got Crystal.
We got Crystal on
Oh,
there.
hey, Crystal.
Hey, let's have some fun with Crystal, shall we?
And you guys use your real names on there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of companies don't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when
No.
I
So
work,
what should we ask
Well,
Crystal?
they don't because they're kind of they wouldn't be able to pronounce their real names. If they're-
Let's ask Crystal this. What is the capital of Peru?
What is the capital of Peru?
Yeah. What is the capital of Peru? See
What
if
is
she
the
knows.
capital of Peru? Do you know?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I do too.
Do you?
Starts with an L.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Rhymes with Zima.
yeah.
Remember Zima?
Yeah, I do.
I don't even think you can buy that anymore. It's not
This
out
is
there.
not an approved use of our chat system. Just throwing that out there.
Let's see if
So
she
we're
gets
just
it.
showing that it works. Somebody's
Yeah.
there. They're
See?
watching. They're watching, minding the store. But that's a great
Yeah,
way to contact
it
us if
is.
you have a question. Just be patient because sometimes the ding doesn't happen right away.
It takes a few moments, but really, that really wasn't that much at all.
Right? No.
Wasn't that long at all. So
Right,
pretty cool.
and it's great for questions too. If you have looking through our product on there, and you have a question, feel free to come on and ask us. And the pricing on the website is the retail pricing, but if you are an installer or a distributor or a end user, and you're a business and you want to get special pricing from us, we're happy to quote
definitely accommodate any of that.
pricing on what we have on the website. So don't
She's responding. What's she going to say?
don't let the pricing on the website scare you. That's just retail. If somebody wanted to just go on there and buy something, they can do that. But for businesses, we can work things out.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yep.
What'd she say there?
It is. She said it's working. I kind of let her know on the.
It's working. Funny.
We're here testing with our podcast hosts.
There you go.
Tell her it's Lima. The answer is Lima.
Well, she could Google it.
Sure, I know with Google nowadays you could do that. So, so we go from Cat 6, and the next step in progression is Cat 6A.
Right.
Which stands for Cat 6 Augmented.
Right.
And really what they've done with that cable is they've taken Cat 6 and they've enhanced it in a way and augmented it with the way that the copper is twisted in the twisted pairs and added some shielding as well.
Okay.
And so that just basically sets it up for a higher performance.
Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, when you're looking at copper, a lot of times, when you're using stranded, it can reduce the efficiency a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the tighter you wind the strands, the more efficient the transmission becomes.
Yeah, and it really helps with creating that magnetic field around,
right. The aluminum around it will prevent any interference.
Yeah, and crosstalk and so forth.
Right.
Now, the next progression, again, we see is Cat 7. Now, we do get a call for Cat 7 from time to time, but it's not a standard in the United States.
Yeah, right.
It is a European standard. And so, but where we see this come into play is when we have companies from Europe and that region come over to the United States, and then we start to see where those are spec'd in.
Right, right. Well, can I just say something?
Yeah.
If you're looking for Cat 7 or Cat 8, really think about going to fiber. Seriously. I mean, really, it's like time.
Yeah.
And some of the great things about fiber are that there is no radio frequency interference. So there's no such thing as shielded fiber, right?
It's just light.
It's just light, and it's very, very efficient light. So what's happening with your data is pretty cool,
Yeah. No, it is, and we're going to get into fiber. So you had the progression from Cat 7, like you were just saying, Cat 8.
Yep.
Cat 8 is out there. It's not really too prevalent yet, but it is out there. I just had somebody today for the first time talk about Cat 10. And so my research into Cat 10 a little bit today, started talking about more of a proprietary use and a single use. We're not there where it's in mass production. It's at the very beginning stages. And again, we're getting to the point of the limitations of using category copper cabling.
Yeah.
So
I think we're there. I think, it's foolish not to go to fiber, I think, at this point, because that's where the standard is. Cost of fiber. Glass doesn't really go up in price. There's the labor associated with it, but the raw material itself, it's not like copper. Copper's a commodity, right? Correct. It's got to be mined out of the ground and processed and then finally spun into the cabling.
Yeah.
Fiber's glass, and it's the width of a human hair.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
If I had some hair to show you,
right? Yep. So,
so we transition into fiber.
Right.
And so looking here, fiber came around early developments, 1960s, 1970s, started really see some of that percolate out there and pick up as far as where we can go with it.
Right.
And it just kind of went from there to the 80s, the 90s, where we started seeing standardization come into place and rapid growth within the fiber community.
I remember in the 80s, I had one of those little fiber light things, you put it in the thing and it just goes.
I think the
where
first
you
time,
see the ends lit up, right?
The first time I think I saw that, Mom and Dad bought us one and went to a circus.
Yeah.
Right. We're sitting up there in the stands watching the circus and having some popcorn and stuff. And they're walking around selling these little fiber lights and it had, sticking out everywhere.
Really? Yeah. I bought mine. It was right after I could drive because it was still in high school, but I had one and I bought it from Spencer's.
Spencer's.
Yeah. At the mall. Yeah.
Spencer's.
Yeah. Spencer's at the mall.
Yeah. They no longer exist, right?
No. Well, no.
Do they? No.
I don't know.
No, they do.
Do they?
I think they did maybe a few years ago when I was at the mall, they did.
Yeah. The problem is finding a mall to see if they still are there.
Right.
They're ripping them all down like there's something wrong with them.
Yeah. Just as we're seeing transition in copper and fiber, we're seeing transition the way people shop. I mean, that's just the way the progression has gone.
It's true.
And speaking of that, you shop a lot more online now, which is why we're thankful for things like copper and fiber, because
I know I do. I mean, things that are, it's just convenient sometimes to say, okay, I need this or that. And I don't want to run to the store just for one thing. And
Well, it brings up a good point, though, that all of these things we're talking about, the progression of copper cabling over time, fiber cabling over time, how integrated is this into our lives?
Right.
I mean, it is every day we are using, I don't care who you are.
Right.
You use a form of this communication devices every single day in your life.
Right.
You can't avoid it now.
And, it's important to understand how it all knits together, because even if you're, a home user, knowing what, how all your stuff is connected and why it's connected the way it's connected, I think is valuable knowledge. It's valuable to understand, what cabling, like I said, I would just, the two ends, they fit in the thing. So good enough, right? Not so. I mean, you're right. You're buying, you're spending a lot of money every month on internet, right? It might as well be as fast as it possibly can be.
Well, I think you probably remember this, and I certainly remember this as a young child. The rabbit ears on the television to try and get reception. And then next thing you know, these are out there trying to pick up that UHF signal coming through the airwaves, the analog signal. And next thing you know is now you have wire hangers.
Right.
You have tin foil, aluminum foil that they're mashing up around the receptors, right?
Yeah.
So we went from that to having a copper cable line and a coax cable
right.
into
Fiber
it, which
optics,
changed the way we even simply view television.
Right.
And now we're at the point in time with HD television. Now we're seeing a lot of fiber optics come into play, and the rate at which we can see and how we see that, video come across.
Right.
But I look back at my lifetime and I'm going, here we are starting off as basically us kids were the remote. Get up and go turn TV,
Yeah.
to remote, to antenna with aluminum foil, to copper cabling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
it was a big difference. And, it really was a good way to fix a TV, to hit it.
Yeah, that came into play too, right?
With the tubes.
You got the
when they
tubes
had
in there, you got some dust or something on them.
Yeah,
a little bit
getting a
loose.
little, they need to get seated again. You just bang on the TV and it worked.
Jesse, did you ever have tube television in your lifetime?
Maybe way back.
Yeah.
I used to have the big CRT monitors,
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh man, those were a nightmare. I remember I can't remember. It was the version of the bulk what is that company called where you buy like bulk returns and things like that? I can't remember the name of the company right now, but it was a version of that company.
Yeah.
And so I bought, for my office, I bought a bunch of these CRT terminals, because they were like, they were 19 inches, or they were a lot bigger than what we were using, right?
Yeah.
And I got, smoking deal on them, right? And they must have been like 80 pounds each. I mean, they were just giant.
Look
and
what we have today. You could lift it up with a finger. I mean,
yeah,
in comparison.
yeah, they were pretty. They weren't moving. Once you put it on the desk, there was nothing was going to move it.
But here's what amazes me, okay, as I get older. And I'm sure this was said generations before us. Technology is advancing so rapidly and so fast that it's outpacing educational standards.
Yeah.
So you almost have to be very specific in the education you want to be in some of these areas to dedicate the time to learn that, to be able to progress with the pace of technology.
That's why I'm a big fan of some of these specialty schools that, when you get into at the high school level and you can start doing some kind of vocational training.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff. Of course you got to learn the regular stuff first, which,
Sure.
not the, social engineering stuff. Let's get back to the basics. Like the title says, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and math, and so science, and, history, which
build a
people don't want to
foundation.
learn anymore. But it's, but when you get into high school and can actually earn college credits too, but have all these training programs, they're big, especially, in Deer Valley has some good technical training, magnet schools. I know Paradise Valley has the same thing. So very important for kids, to be able to develop these skills.
Yeah, especially in the world of, like we're saying, with fiber optics and where this is transitioning, where it's going. And almost every day we hear about something new that's in our world that hadn't been there before.
I was watching a TikTok with allegedly live Elon Musk, and I think it was him, but a lot of people weren't buying it. But I thought it was him. but he was, telling people, forget about getting a computer science degree. Don't even do it. It'll be worthless by the time you get done. Get a business degree, because AI is going to take over everything programming wise and all that. He said, don't do it. Just get a business degree so you can exploit the use of AI.
Gotcha.
Make money, right? Made a lot of sense to me what he was saying.
Yeah. Hey, you have to have that vision.
Well,
right?
I mean, AI's already writing code. So,
yeah.
I mean, I've already asked AI before for like a website, hey, I need a snippet that does this, for my website.
Yeah.
And it writes it. It just writes it.
Amazing.
And then I have to tweak it a little bit, but it got me farther than me sitting there pecking away. I was able to add code very easily. And so it's and some of the software platforms and programs, plugins are starting to integrate AI in their spheres as well.
It is. It's here, and it's going to continue to grow.
Yep.
It just will. So back to basics, fiber cabling, again, we're almost at the end of the show, so we'll just speed this up a little bit. So you had OM1, right?
Right.
And then out came OM2.
Right.
And OS2.
OS1 and OS2, and there's a distinction between the two. But OS2 has a transmission distance of something like 16, is it 16 kilometers?
I believe so. I'd have to look it up, to be honest
pretty
with you.
far. It's pretty far. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
And, the OM is greatly reduced, but it's a more light bands that are
correct. Multi-mode fiber you get into where you're sending multiple signals and modes of light.
Right.
Through the same cabling.
Right.
And, so you get OM3, then OM4. All these increase the speed and functionality that you're looking for, and depends on distance, like you said.
Right.
And so you're going to have a solution that we can offer across the board for all of those needs that you have out there.
Right. And the OS2 single mode, so it's basically one thing at a time, but the multi-mode sends multiple streams of light, bandwidths of light, and when you get up to OM4, so all the 1, 2, 3, and 4 are really a function of distance, and 4 I think is something like 1,400 meters. I think is max distance on that. I'm trying to recall, but I think that's about right, because I was talking to a guy about going between floors. He's wiring, wiring switches and using a DAC for the switches inside the closet, but then going from one closet to another closet up in another floor, right? And he was wondering what do I need to use, because it's a multi-mode switch. So,
and just remember, when you're calling in to talk to us or having conversations with us, let us do your homework.
Yeah.
Let us know exactly what it is you're looking to do, the equipment that you're using, and we'll be glad to help be a solution for you.
Right.
And come up with a solution that best suits not only your needs for now, but your needs for the future and the growth of the business or company you're working for.
Right.
So there's a lot there. Like I said, we're almost out of time today. One thing we didn't touch on is we got a great metal manufacturing facility, right?
Right.
So racks, brackets, shelves, wire management, all sorts of custom metal fabrication.
Sure.
That we have.
Yeah. The technology on that hasn't changed too much, though.
Yeah, metal's metal, but you can twist, turn it, however you want to do it. But that is back to the basics, the basic roots.
That was mighty kind of you, John.
It was, right?
Yeah, I see you. I see you. Yeah. I guess we didn't have any comments today, which is fine. We'll look at your comments later when you rewatch this podcast. If you have any questions, feel free to ask there. As we said, we gave you contact info.
That's right. Like, share, subscribe.
Please.
So
we would love to grow in the, especially our U.S. audience. Share it with friends.
Speaking of grow, just so you guys know, the wife has asked me to grow a beard. So if I look a little scruffy right now, we'll see what next.
Is that what
looks
happened?
Like. Yeah, that's what I haven't yet in my life to grow a beard. So she's like, "Hey, honey."
So you don't even know if you can, huh?
Well, I don't know. We got some stubble going on here, so I might look a little scruffy for a few podcasts. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll see what this thing ends up looking like.
We'll watch it come out. Yeah, there you go. Well, okay, everybody. It's been another fun Thursday. I'm off tomorrow, which I'm happy about.
Hey, enjoy your day off.
Thank you.
Do anything special?
I'm going to see Trump. Yeah.
Nice.
So that'll be fun.
You get me his autograph while you're there?
If I probably not you, but yeah. But yeah, no, I got expedited entrance and everything. So
very nice.
It should be fun.
Very cool.
Yeah. Sometimes all the volunteer work pays off.
Yeah. It does. It always does. It's rewarding, right?
Yes.
So
it's for the future. It's for our kids and grandkids that we do all that work. But for now, I'm Mark Beach.
I'm John Dotson, and thank you once again.
Have a great week.